show how people are. So this guy's fighting for an inch right over here. Let me go around this way. Go to the next one. That's what happens when you get criminally trespassed from a restaurant for eating. You got to go way out of the way to the other restaurant. You know, just don't ever say anything mean to a restaurant manager. Don't do that. It makes you go way out of the way. But I have to honor her respect. If she doesn't want me to go to a restaurant, she wants to criminally trespass me from a restaurant, that's what I have to respect. That's part of liberty, you know. What I found out in that process, which is pretty interesting, because I'm a filmmaker and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to have sets eventually. And if someone comes on my set, it doesn't matter who they are, and I don't want them there, I can criminally trespass them. Because you can criminally trespass anyone from your business. So if you have a business and you don't want them in there, you just criminally trespass them. You don't even have to give a reason. In the state of Texas, and pretty much almost every state, you don't have to give them a reason. You say, look, officer, I do not want this person near me. And they get out a pink slip. They get their information. And they get, so that person comes around again and they get in trouble. It doesn't matter the situation. It can be church. It can be business. It can be a restaurant. So that's kind of a behavior thing, because then you start realizing, well, you know, if you lose it, you have a behavior problem, and they don't like that. They don't have to be around it. And, I mean, you could probably go back and sue them in civil court. Now, you could do that. I could get a lawyer and go back and sue her and say, well, let's, you know, I'm not going to do that. But I'm saying that, you know, because she's made my life, that manager has made my life more difficult, but she has the right to do that, but it doesn't mean that she's going to get away with it. Because she may criminal trespass someone else, and they go, oh, you're going to criminally trespass me and my family? And then all of a sudden, she gets served papers, gets drawn into court, and then the judge has to decide, well, what was the real reason behind the criminal trespass? And the judge can make decisions and remove the criminal trespass, and then it can be a court case where Jason's Deli ends up getting sued, right, for criminally trespassing somebody. And this happened to me at I believe it was a Louisville Jason's Deli, because a little plate of egg yolk fell off my table onto the chair. I mean, come on. It wasn't the best manners of me. I was playing, paper football with my egg yolk in a little little paper cup. I put because you get too much egg yolk, you just get sick to your stomach if it's too much egg yolk. I put it in my script, not the criminal trespass part, but I put the egg yolk part because I just think it's interesting, taking yolk out of an egg. But anyway, it's just how I am. But the thing is that the lady, she got so offended and mad. It was the 4th of July when it happened. I didn't go back to that restaurant till 60 days later, and she recognized me. I'm going to get that son of a, all of a sudden this lady police officer, she was really nice about it. And I said, you're really kicking me out of here? I understand kicking someone out at a bar for drinking or, carousing, but I was just, like dipping my croutons in ranch sauce, or whatever. And I go, okay, so I took a few bites and I left. What was I going to do? Have them drag me out? I mean, some people might, but, I told them, I said, well, I'll just go to the nearest one near me. And they were like, you're welcome to do that. Now, that's not Christian of them. That's not a Christian act. Some people may argue about that, but, forgiveness, there is no criminal trespassing when it comes to forgiveness, right? So when we forgive others, we don't criminally trespass them. It is causing a lot of problems in my life because I got to go 7 miles further rather than 4 miles. So it's a 3-mile difference, but that adds up on there and back. That's a 6-mile difference, which costs money. And in the long run, I could probably take Jason's Deli to court if things work out my favor. I wouldn't want to. It's one of my favorite restaurants. But I could maybe take them to court and say, look, this is not nice of you guys. It's just not nice. It's not polite of you guys to criminal trespass one of your favorite customers. You know, nobody wants to be criminal trespassed from a restaurant. Those things happen. It's a good learning lesson. I probably won't go back and sue, you know, for I don't think the criminal trespass was right. I asked the police officer, you know, this happened a few months ago. But it also happened, the original incident of the egg yolk happened on July 4th. And then I did call the lady a name because she went over there and scolded me. And I thought that was rude and I didn't feel well. So I did call her a bad name. So that was one thing I shouldn't have done. Started with a C. And then I walked out and I waited 60 days. I went to another one for a while and then I came back. She recognized me. So I talked to the police officer right before I left, and the police officer gave a pretty good answer. It was like, I don't agree or disagree. So in their incidents, when they're dealing with law, I guess in some way they can't really agree or disagree. I heard Stephen King say that too, about telekinesis. When he was writing Carrie, he said he didn't believe in it or disbelieve, is what he said. But they're saying that they don't agree with it or disagree. They're just following orders. So anyway, I have to drive all the way down to this area, which is about ultimately 7 miles out of the way. So if I were able to go to the one that's by my place, then it would be about 3.4 miles, and as opposed to like 7 miles. So we're talking about 4 miles, roughly 7 miles or 8 miles, around that, you know, 7 or 8 mile difference, which isn't too bad, but it takes time, and this passage road, you know, is not always clear. And the other place, I'm hoping they'll build a Jason's Deli somewhere near Carrollton or in that area, because the Louisville one is very close to where I'm at. I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, I made her so mad, and I guess I did. But the thing is about women is they get locked into this one-way thing. And then they blame men for doing it. And they hate men for getting locked in on one thing. But they go in one direction, and they don't back down. That's why it says hell has no fury, like a woman scorned. I say hell has no fury like Cole scorned. Because I know that lady's not working for Jason's Deli anymore. Because I know that this stuff leaked. And she'll have to go off and find another franchise to go bother people. Because that's a real serious thing. Police officers don't want to have to do that at a restaurant. Now, the guy's throwing food everywhere and there's a food fight, which still wouldn't require criminal trespass because people have food fights for fun. But, you know, if the guy's completely just throwing chairs across the restaurant, and some people have rude behavior when they eat. Like Italians will take a glass and they'll throw it into a fireplace, and that's a sign of respect to the food, and they'll burp out loud. And I think that's great. I think they should throw the glass right in the fireplace, and I would clap as they did it. I think it's great to have that kind of behavior. I mean, think of a person that might have Tourette's. Motherless Brooklyn is already out. I mean, you imagine how many places that guy would be criminally trespassed from? We all need to kind of wake up. This is a form of inclusion. This is a kind of a post about inclusion, which I'll probably post it and call it inclusion. But if we don't grow up, you know, everyone's pointing fingers and telling people to grow up that may have a problem. But if we don't grow up and start including other people, the next thing you know, we're going to be excluded, right? Because there is a God. And that God watches our behavior. And when we exclude someone from our life, we become excluded, without a doubt, even from family.